Today we'll be learning about the 6 signposts of literature to look for: contrasts and contradictions, tough questions, words of the wiser, memory moments, again and again, and aha moments that the characters have. As we read, we take note of whenever we notice one of the signposts. We do that by stopping whenever we see one of the signposts in action, and then taking note of the importance of what we've read for the rest of the story. Eventually, you'll learn to locate the signposts on your own and explain the significance of the signposts as you read. When we look at contrasts and contradictions, we're noticing any time in the book when the character says or does something that's the opposite, contradicts what he or she has been saying or doing all along. At that point, you might stop and ask yourself, why is the character doing that? The answers that you come up with could help you make a prediction or maybe make an inference about the plot and the overall conflict of the story. The again and again signpost is when you're reading and you notice a word, phrase, object, or situation mentioned over and over. When you notice these things, stop and ask yourself, why does this keep showing up again and again? The answer will tell you maybe about the theme or the conflict of the story, or it might even foreshadow things or events that will happen on later in the plot. The next signpost is aha moments. These are like light bulb moments when we're reading and suddenly a character might realize, understand, or finally figure something important out. Here you should stop and ask yourself, how might this realization change things? If the character figured out a problem or maybe figured out a solution to a problem, you likely just learned more about a deeper conflict. If the character understood a life lesson, you probably even just learned about the theme. The text clues here to look for are words like realized, suddenly, understood, knew, or something like the thought came to me. The next signpost is memory moment. Memory moments happen when characters have a flashback. Flashback is when a character thinks back to a previous event. When you're reading and the author interrupts the action to tell a memory and go back, you should stop yourself and ask, well, why might this memory be important to the character? The answers might help you learn a deeper meaning about the theme, conflict, or again, foreshadowing. The next signpost is tough questions. When you're reading, sometimes characters will ask themselves a really difficult question. You should stop and ask yourself what this question makes you, the reader, wonder about. The answers might tell you more about the conflict and give you deeper ideas about what will happen later on in the story. The last signpost is words of the wiser. When you're reading and a character, who's probably older and probably a lot wiser, takes the main character aside and gives that main character some serious advice. Here you should stop and ask yourself, what's the life lesson and how might it affect the character? Whatever that lesson is probably will give you the theme or the message of the story. The next time you're reading a great book, stop and look for those signposts. When you notice them, take notes, and it will help you gain a deeper understanding of the story you're reading.